Hello children. So once again I'm back here with a new video for you all, which is on the volcanoes, right? And as I proceed, I must remind you once again, do subscribe the channel, and as you go through the video you'll find it very useful for you, right? So also don't forget to share the link of this video with your friends and classmates, right? So now let's start with this topic, volcanoes. What does that mean? If we say a volcano, just within a second the thing comes in our mind that molten magma or lava which is coming out from the earth's surface. Yes, that is only a volcano. Now here especially we are going to talk about the volcano, its structure, what are the things which are coming out by volcanic eruption, right? All these things we have to discuss. First of all, when we define a volcano, it is just an opening or a rupture, you can say, a crack on the earth's surface, right? Or on the you can say the crust of the earth, which allows hot molten rock, right? The molten form of rock, which is called as magma when it is there below the earth's surface. When it comes on the earth's surface, it is called by the name lava. So the opening on the earth's surface which allows this molten magma to come out, okay, along with ash and gases. Several gases also come out along with it from deep below the earth's surface. So that is a volcano. That opening is called a volcano. Clear? So the forces relating to or arising from the interior of the earth basically are called endogenic forces. Any force which is working inside the earth and which results into the formation of new landforms and all on the earth's surface, all that comes under endogenic forces. And basically endogenic forces are of two types. One is diastrophic and the other is called sudden forces, sudden movements. So here we are going to discuss about the sudden movements. Sudden movements are basically like volcano, earthquake. These are a few movements which bring about instant changes on the earth's surface. Okay, immediate change will be there. So these are basically volcanoes and earthquakes. So here we are going to discuss about one of these, that is volcano. Now basically when we define, it's okay, just now we were discussing about it, a volcano is a rupture or you can say an opening on the earth's surface through which hot molten magma or lava along with several poisonous gases and ash and all, it comes out, it escapes out, right, from the magma chamber. So that is a volcano. But how does it occur? It occurs basically because the earth's crust, is separated into several tectonic plates, right? Several tectonic plates are there which are forming the entire earth's surface. And these tectonic plates are actually, it is believed that these are floating around on a hotter and softer mantle below. Just below the earth's crust, it is mantle. So over mantle, we believe that all these are moving. They are just like these are floating over it. Okay, and this is why volcanoes are generally found around the places. The plates are having three types of movements. Either they converge or they diverge away from each other. So these are the two types of movements in which you will find maximum number of volcanoes are found. For example, as the plates move apart, what will be the result of it? Suppose two plates are moving away from each other, what will be the result? They will develop a deep crack in between. Okay, that is called a fissure, and that fissure opens up in the earth's crust, and through which now the magma which is there inside the earth, it gets its way to come out on the earth's surface, and this results into the formation of a type of volcano which is commonly called by the name fissure type volcano. Why? Because this volcano is actually formed through a fissure or a crack, you can say, on the earth's surface. So basically A volcano is any opening or a fissure or a crack through which magma gets its way to come out. Right? Now, what are those people or the scientists who study about the volcanoes and all, or volcanism? What are these people called? These are called as volcanologists. Right? Now, let's talk a little more about volcanoes and how are they formed. Now see, for that you should understand the tectonic plates. How do they move? When tectonic plates collide with each other and go through the process of subduction, that means one of the plate goes below the other, it sets the foundation for a volcano. Okay, that is one. The overlapping of the tectonic plates causes the magma to break through the crust, and which is the cause of volcanoes' birth. So this is one way. Between the molten iron core and the thin crust at the Earth's surface, a solid body of rocks lie within. Okay, when temperature and pressure rises, the rock melts and moves through the surface and crust, and that releases gases and magma. Okay, that actually causes this magma and the various gases to come out, and this is how the volcano erupts. This process of coming out of the magma or various poisonous gases or ash or water vapor, whatever, all these things, when all these things come out from the interiors on the Earth's surface, that process is called volcanic eruption. Right? Volcano is the opening through which it comes, and volcanic eruption is actually the process of actually the magma or all these gases when it comes out of it. That is called volcanic eruption. Now the next thing, how are volcanoes formed? Actually, little bit more about it. Magma, you can see here in this picture very clearly. Magma, when it can rise, when pieces of Earth's crust called tectonic plates slowly move away from each other. Okay, when the plates move away from each other, what happens then? You can see here in one of the cases, when these plates are moving away, so a crack is caused, a deep, you can say fissure is caused, and through which the magma gets its way to come out. Then a final way that magma rises is over hotspots. Hotspots are exactly what they sound like, hot areas inside the earth. Okay, these are the places where the hotspots can be seen. That means the area where the volcanic eruption is seen, which are considered as the hotspots on the Earth's surface. Now, the causes of volcano include basically three main factors. Number one is the heat and pressure, which is built up inside the Earth. You all should know that whenever the heat is there, we all know that as we go deep inside, heat is too much, right? Inside the earth, the temperature is very high, but along with that, pressure is also built up inside. Okay, and this pressure from the surrounding rock causes the magma to blast or melt a channel to the surface, and where magma erupts onto the surface through a vent, that is actually resulting into the formation of a volcano. So this is how a volcano is formed. Second factor we can say is, just now we were discussing about it, the plate tectonics or the movement of plates, right? Always you will find the plates, wherever the margins are there, margin of these plates are there, that is an important area for the various volcanic activities, and along with that earthquakes also. And all over the world we know very well an area which is called as ring of fire, right? Now what is it? Ring of fire, basically you can see in this picture there is a ring of fire, right? And it is actually surrounding the Pacific Ocean. It is covering the coastal part of the Pacific Ocean, and that's why it is very well known by the name Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire. And why it is called Ring of Fire, behind it, the main reason is this only, that you can see here number of volcanoes are present in this area, right? 75% to 80% of the total active and even dormant volcanoes can be seen within this part. And this is an area where you will find the margin of different plates are there, right? Tectonic plates are there, and that is why this is the most sensitive zone for the volcanic activities. You can see here very clearly the ring of fire has been shown. Now the next one more factor works here is that of magma chamber. Okay, now what is magma chamber? You must have heard about magma, but what is magma chamber now? Deep inside the earth, where you will find a magma chamber, that means a space is there in which the rock is present in its molten form, right? And that is called magma chamber, which actually supplies the magma when the volcanic eruption take place. Okay, from the magma chamber only the magma keeps coming and it comes out on the surface. So a magma chamber is a shallow storage chamber for molten rock, and it is mostly below 1 to 10 kilometers below the earth's surface. And the magma chamber is immediate origin of material ejected in the volcanic eruptions. That means there you will always find the molten form of rock is present in huge amount, right? So magma enters the chamber from an unknown location at depth, and this is actually, we cannot say unknown location. Basically at that depth the magma, the rock starts melting, and that is how it gets its supply of magma in the chamber. Okay, so this is how the magma chamber is always full with magma. Now what are the basic products of a volcano? Suppose we have just now discussed a lot about how the volcano erupts, right? What is a volcano? What is a magma chamber? How the volcanic eruption is caused. Now when a volcanic eruption has occurred, what do we find? What are the things which are thrown out through a volcano, which are coming out of a volcano? These all are called as the products of volcano. Now out of all these things we find in all the three different forms, right? Solid, liquid and gases. All the three forms of material come out of the earth's surface. Number one is the molten form, right? Now what is molten form of it? Yes, magma or lava. Magma, again I am repeating, magma is actually the molten rock, same molten rock. When it is below the earth's surface, it's magma. When it is coming out, that is called the lava. So the magma is coming out of a volcano, so it is one of the products of a volcano, right? And now this magma resides in certain places, chambers that have passages up to volcanoes, and from the magma chamber there is a vent, right? There is a pipe-like structure through which the magma gets its way to come out, and as the volcano erupts, it is this magma that constantly keeps coming out of the volcano. Okay, so this is one of the products of volcanic eruption. Next come to the solid matter. Now what solid matter can come out? Solid matter altogether, it is called by one term, that is called pyroclast. Okay, all the solid matter, whether it is the very fine dust particle, or you can say small lapilli. Lapilli, actually these are very small stone like particles. So these are all these are the solid matter, right? So all these combined are called by the name pyroclasts or pyroclastic material. So the solid fragments, which are the rock pieces, okay, which are thrown out of volcanic eruption, these are called by the name pyroclastic material. And the finest particles out of all these are called as the volcanic dust. Okay, very fine particles. And then the particles go on increasing in size, and when these are small sized like stones, relate that with the like small gravels and pebbles and all. So that type of stones which are thrown out, these are called by the name lapilli. Okay, lapilli, Lapilli, lapilli. And then the third type of material which are thrown out in solid form, these are actually violent eruptions known as bombs, right? These are like you can relate that with the cricket balls we are having, okay, cricket or lawn tennis balls. just like that. So that sized stone, when it is thrown out from a volcano, that is called as a volcanic bomb. Okay, so these are all the pyroclastic materials. And the third is the gaseous matter. Gaseous matter is actually several gases are released out of the volcanic eruption, okay, and along with water vapor in large amount. So these are the you can say the products which are coming out of a volcano. Now the next topic we have to discuss here is about the structure of a volcano. Again, this is important for you. Structure of a volcano means what? That means the different parts we have to study here, from where the magma comes, what is the opening on the earth's surface called, and what the landform is formed on the earth's surface. All these we are going to study in this. Okay, number one out of all this is crater. Crater is actually, you can see side by side in this picture also, crater is actually the opening on the earth's surface, right? Any opening on the earth's surface through which the molten magma comes out, that is called crater. This is the crater, number one. And this crater, you can see here the vertical pipe-like structure which is connecting crater to magma chamber. Okay, this pipe-like structure is called as main vent. That means the passage through which the magma from magma chamber is coming out through crater on the earth's surface. Okay, so in other way we can say that crater is connected to the magma chamber through the vent. And now what is vent? The lava flows out through an opening in the earth's crust, and this is called as the vent, main vent. Okay, now what is magma chamber? This is again an important part of all the volcanoes. It is the immediate origin, or you can say a chamber or a space where the rock is present in its molten form. And this is actually the place from where the magma is supplied in a volcanic eruption. So this is called the magma chamber. This is always very deep inside the earth. And next one is the volcanic cone. What is volcanic cone now? The landform which is formed on the earth's surface as a result of the volcanic eruption. All the materials which are thrown out by volcano, okay, including lava, and because magma, when it comes out, it is now a lava, right? This lava spreads over the entire, all the sides of this volcanic cone, and thus this small cone starts actually increasing in its size. And this is how a new landform is formed. Generally a conical hill is formed, and its origin is by volcanic activity. Okay, so this cone like shape is formed. This cone is called by the name volcanic cone because it is the result of volcanic eruption. So it is called by the name volcanic cone. Okay, volcanic cone. So this is again something which you should consider as a part of volcano. So number one is crater, the opening on the earth's surface. Then the pipe-like structure which is connecting crater with the magma chamber, right? Then magma chamber itself. Magma chamber is the place from where the magma is coming out, right? And the last one, the fourth one you should remember, is the cone, or the volcanic cone, or the mountain which is formed as a result of volcanic eruption. So this is a volcanic cone, and this you can see here, the lava flow is going on the surface of it, right, in the form of ash. The ash which is thrown out, it along with water vapor, it changes into the ash cloud, right? Then you can see here several small vents are there, as a branch like formation is there, and these are called as secondary vent. Main vent is this one, okay, vertical one, and the other secondary vents are there through which some amount of magma also get its way to come out, and that is why these are called as secondary crater and these are secondary vent. Okay, and a small conical shaped hill is formed on the slope, that is called secondary cone. So these are the basic you can say the main important parts of a volcano. The other way you can understand in this, magma chamber deep inside, okay, and this is the main vent, and outside it is ash cloud is formed. Pyroclastic material is thrown out through a crater, okay. Pyroclastic include the volcanic dust, lapilli, and the volcanic bombs, right? These are the main important parts of a volcano. The same thing is shown here also. Now let's talk about the next thing, that is how volcanoes are formed. Again, we are going to discuss about when plates collide. In the beginning I told you about this. When you can see here with the help of this picture, when the two plates collide, what happens then? It is actually one part of the land mass goes deep inside. You can see here subduction zone. This is actually going below the other plate, right? Oceanic crust, which is actually there on this plate, it is going below the other one, that is the continental crust. Now this forms actually a crack, okay, and this crack is working as the place through which the magma gets its way to come out. This is one. And second one is when the plates move away from each other. You can see in this picture, right? These two plates are moving away from each other, leaving a deep ridge to a crack to develop, okay. A deep crack is developed or a fissure is developed, and through this magma comes out constantly, resulting into the formation of a long ridge. Yes, I am talking about the mid-Atlantic ridge. Mid-Atlantic ridge is the result of this type of activity only, right? When the two plates started moving away from each other, a deep crack developed, and through which the magma started coming out. That has resulted into the formation of mid-Atlantic ridge, which you can see here. It is written mid-ocean ridge. It is similar to that mid-Atlantic ridge, okay. So this is again an example of volcanic activity. Now we have studied about all these things. Now what do you think? Can there be any constructive effect of volcano? Because whenever we imagine of any volcanic eruption, always it comes in our mind that everywhere destruction is caused by this, right? But yes, certain constructive effects are also seen. Okay, now what are these constructive effects of a volcanic eruption? Number one, when a volcano has occurred in any part, suppose volcanic eruption was there, right? Magma comes out in the form of lava, it spreads over in the entire area. Now this lava, when eventually it actually cools down, and after a long time, right, after a long time, it actually converts into a fine soil particle. So that soil which is formed, that soil is one of the most fertile soils we are having on earth, and that is called as the black soil. And this black soil is very good for the growth of plants. So this is one of the constructive effects of volcanic eruption. Then you can see the sulfur in volcanic vents along the ocean floor. It allows life to exist without sunlight. In certain cases we have seen without sunlight also the life is existing deep inside. So it is on this basis, right, just because of the presence of sulfur. Then volcanoes recycle the earth's minerals. Several new minerals are formed as a result of it. And then besides this, you can say like the new landforms are formed as a result of volcanic activities, right? So these are the various constructive effects of volcano. Now what can be the destructive side of it, destructive effects of a volcanic eruption? Number one, yes, as we all know it very well, lava, which is actually coming out on the earth's surface, hot molten lava, it destroys everything in its path. Whatever is there in its way, it just burns it away, right? It just clears it off. And this actually causes on large scale destruction everywhere of life as well as property. Okay, so that is one thing. Then ash can cause, the ash which is there in the atmosphere near that volcanic eruption area, you'll find that the ash is actually, when we inhale, ash also goes inside, and then it causes harm to the lungs. So that is again one destructive effect of it. Then if ash and debris, which is actually coming out of the mountain, right, it is called as a pyroclastic flow. Temperatures in this flow can be very hot, and whenever it reaches any forested area, it can easily ignite the wood. It can cause the forest fire to develop because of that. Then next is the sulfurous gases, which can mix with water vapor and form acid rain, right? All these gases which mix with water vapor, that ultimately causes rainfall. Just immediately after the volcanic eruption, most of the cases you will find the rainfall occurs. It is because the water vapor which is released out of a volcanic eruption, that gets condensed at a higher altitude, it gets condensed. So when it is mixed with this type of gases, sulfuric gases and all, so that actually results into the formation of acid rain. And then acid rain, again, it is very, very harmful for all the plants and animals which are living in that area. Besides all this thing, you can say whenever the ash is there in the atmosphere, okay, you can say the volcanic ash or the dust which is there in the atmosphere, it remains in the atmosphere for a long time. And if that area, if we want to go through the flight, okay, through that area, it will create a lot of problems. That means the visibility becomes very less in that area. So it creates problem in transportation, especially in the case of flights and all, right? So these are a few things, and moreover, one more thing here you can add, that is when the several gases are released by volcanic eruption, in that some of the gases are greenhouse gases also, and these greenhouse gases ultimately result into what? Yes, global warming. And global warming is one of the most important problems we are facing these days. So this is again a cause for global warming. Okay, so these are the destructive effects of a volcanic eruption. Now you can see very clearly a crater is there through which magma is actually trying to come out. Okay, it's hot molten magma, and a person is standing here and trying to get the picture of all this, right? Now in this way, children, we are getting a lot of information about deep inside the earth, that what is the level of temperature deep inside, okay, what are the different forms of rocks we have inside, what are the elements which are forming these rocks. All these informations we are getting through this. This is one way, right? And you know, as a result of the volcanic activities only, in the areas where volcanic activities have been there, you'll find a few important landforms can be seen. And out of these landforms, one of the very important landform we can find is in the form of caldera. Yes, it is called Caldera Lake. One of the best examples of it is a lake which is actually considered as the origin of Nile River in Africa, and its name is Victoria Lake, right? Now how it has been formed, what happens, children, you know, when a volcano is there, right, and a volcanic cone has been formed, and somehow due to some reason the opening of the volcanic cone or the crater is somehow it is blocked, right? Now what happens because of that blocked opening? Again, if after a long time, if magma is actually trying to come out, it is not getting its way to come out, right? So what happens then? It causes an explosion, okay? It blasts away the upper part of the cone, and that creates a depression to develop in the upper part of the cone, volcanic cone, and that results into the formation of a crater, the Caldera Lake. When that depression is suppose anytime the rainfall has occurred and water is there, water remains actually in that depression. So as the water accumulates in that, it results into the formation of a lake, and this lake only is called by the name Caldera Lake, or many times it is also called as Crater Lake. Okay, So this is how it is formed. So it is the result of volcanic activity. So this can be taken as one of the constructive effects. Okay, the landforms which are formed as a result of volcanic activities. So this is one of them, right? Then hot spring and geysers. This is again something very important feature in those areas where the volcanic activities are very commonly seen. Now what are these? Hot springs and geysers, basically both are formed in same way, right? They are having hot water which is basically coming from inside the earth, right? And the only difference between the two is that in hot spring the water comes out very quietly and it spreads over the earth's surface, but in geyser it is coming out with a lot of pressure, right? So this is the only difference. You can see here the definition is given. Hot springs, basically water below the earth's surface, which is called underground water. That water, when comes in contact with hot molten magma, okay, or hot rocks which are there inside the earth, it also gets heated up. The water inside the rocks which is there, that also gets heated up, and through a crack, generally a fissure or a crack which is there on the earth's surface, it comes up on the surface of earth. And because it comes up quietly on the earth's surface, it forms a hot spring, right? Hot spring, again, the water which comes out, that is hot because of the hot rock or the hot molten magma which comes in contact with it, right? So this is hot spring. Now what is geyser? When hot water below the earth's surface along with steam. Now in this case the steam is also there, and what is the main factor behind it is there is an opening on the earth's surface, or if there is no opening, it blasts it away, right? It causes that opening to develop, and when it comes out along with steam, a lot of steam is there, and you all know it very well, steam has got a lot of pressure with it, okay, a lot of force with it, so it gushes out with a lot of pressure, just like a fountain we are having here on the earth's surface. We are having several places fountains, water fountains. So this is actually a fountain of hot water. Another way we can say it's a natural fountain of hot water on the earth's surface, and it is called by the name geyser. So again, hot spring and geysers are the features which we can find in the volcanic region only, right? Now what is the use of these? Actually, you know, the hot water which is coming out in this manner, it is having several minerals mixed with it, right? And this water is of great medicinal value, right? It is believed that the people who take a bath, or they just wash their hand or the legs and all, so if they have any such skin diseases, they get cured by this. Okay, so that is one benefit of it. Number two is that the hot water which is actually coming out in this manner, this hot water is also used to keep the buildings hot, by supplying this hot water to circulate inside the buildings and in the colder regions especially, to keep all the buildings hot, okay, to maintain the temperature of those buildings. So as we are having centralized air conditioned, there actually centralized heating is done in the colder regions. So it is one of the ways how we can get easily hot water, right, in natural way. We are nobody is doing it. Okay, another point you can write here, the importance of it is, like you must have heard about the geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is one of the most important, you can say, the non-conventional sources of energy we are having these days, and it is being used in different areas. So this is how we are able to get actually geothermal energy also, which is not causing any pollution at all, right? The heat inside the earth is actually being used, right? That heat is causing the water to get heated up, and this hot water, or the steam, better you call it, the steam which is actually used to move the turbines, and these turbines then actually convert that into electricity, and it is supplied to the nearby settlement areas or the cities and all. So this is how the geothermal energy is also produced by these. Okay, so these are the uses of hot spring and geysers. And besides all these things, one more thing here you can add, like these areas where you'll find a number of hot springs and geysers. One of the best examples you can give in this regard is the Yellowstone Park of United States. This is actually creating an area for tourism, right? So again, a source of income, or you can say it generates the source of revenue for the government. Okay, so this is again one of the uses. This is actually a hot spring which you can see here, right? Because it is not coming out in the form of a fountain. Okay, and this is actually a fountain. You can see very clearly. Clear? This is a fountain in which the hot water along with steam is gushing out with a lot of pressure, right? So this is a geyser. Now this is all with this video, children, and I hope this topic is now very clear to you. How the volcanoes are formed, what is a volcano, what are the products of a volcano, what are the constructive and destructive effects of it, right? What are hot springs and geysers and all this. Now I hope this topic is very clear to you now. Before I leave, I must remind you once again, do subscribe the channel, and as you go through the video you must have seen that it is very useful for you. So you should share the link of this video with your friends and classmates. Okay, so see you soon in the next video. Till then, bye.